What's happening, everybody? Willie here, and I would like to officially welcome you to the first episode of the Grayt Outdoors, brought to you by Mother Nature, who found it pertinent today to make us have our first episode indoors. Yeah, that's right. She decided that today, Saturday, which I wanted to have my video out tomorrow, which it may not happen now, it's going to rain all day. And it's been raining pretty hard. Not just that old silly rain. It's been that walk out the door, get wet rain immediately. First 10 feet out the door, rain. But it's given me a chance to do something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. Now, during the wanna go fishing era, you may have seen me rebuild or put a new engine on an old Coleman 200U mini bike, where I added a milk crate to the back, of course. I mean, that's what I do. I added a milk crate to the back and 2 side bags, hard Apache side bags, and fishing rod holders on the back and all of that. Well, that's great, that's wonderful, but it wasn't done. I rode it to go fishing. By the way, don't do that. It's not legal. Just gonna tell you now, mini bikes on the road are not legal. Now, maybe where you live out in the country, nobody pays any attention to that kind of thing or something like that. But here in the city, it's paid attention to. But don't get me started on that, because that can bring up a whole new argument with me when it comes to things like that. Because electric bicycles are coming past my house running 30 miles an hour. But yet my mini bike runs 19. I know, I clocked it. I have an app on my phone that's a speedometer app. 19, and that was downhill. 17 on flat land. That's the best it'll do. That's it. That's all she's got. That's the way she's geared. But because it is powered, or it's under its own power, meaning there's no help whatsoever. Like an electric bicycle has a crank and you can actually pedal it to get it to that speed. Even though the electric part of the bicycle is really pushing you along more so. When I see people come past here, they're not pedaling. Trust me, they're not pedaling. They're flying. I don't even think the wheels are touching the ground. They're zipping by here. But that's where the legality of the mini bike gets phased out and the legality of the electric bike gets brought in. But here, the electric bikes fly by here. Mini bike, no. Bad, don't do it. But what I've been wanting to do to finish off the mini bike and to get it where I really wanted it to be, I wanted a headlight. I wanted some form of headlight, and I didn't want it to be a little bicycle headlight. I wanted it to be a headlight. I wanted it to be something that light up the area in front of me and I can see where I'm going, so I can push it that 17 miles per hour through the woods, trails, beaches, mountains, creeks, rivers, whatever. I want it to be bright. Let's just go with that. Now, again, sorry that this Grayt Outdoors video had to be the Grayt Indoors, but it has to do with getting out into the Grayt Outdoors, which I intend to take that bike, that mini bike, this winter. I have some ideas for that thing. And I want to go maybe a overnight camping thing or a fishing thing. I got some land that I know about, some people that own that'll allow me to come out and maybe fish and camp and use just the mini bike to get where I need to go. Trout fishing. But all that's still in the works. I can't say it's gonna happen. I'd like for it to happen, and I'm trying to work on it. Gotta work on things. So today, we're gonna jump into a big bunch of spaghetti electrical and try to wire in a battery, which I have, a light, which I have, a switch, which I have, and the know-how. I don't want to say I have, but I can figure things out, as far as you know. Anyway, who knows? We flip the switch and fireworks go off. It's a great video. And we start over. At least you'll get something out of it. Anyway, let's head into the kitchen because I needed more room than the old table of contents could give me to be able to hook up all the wiring and get it going. And I'll show you some of the stuff that I got and how we're going to mount it and all that fun stuff. So anyway, let's move that way. We're going that way, people. Follow me. Going this way. Okay, so what we're going to do is real quick, I'm going to show you what we have here. This obviously is a small battery. This is an Energy Power EPSLA 12-9. It's a small battery. It's 12 volt. It's going to power our headlight. Speaking of headlight, let's show you that really fast so I can show you exactly what we're dealing with. This is a company I've been dealing with for quite some time, Headlight. They make some good stuff. I got several of these on different vehicles of all kinds. The golf cart has several of these on it, and they have never let me down. This is a good company with inexpensive lighting that if you're wanting to say a mini bike, a go-kart, golf cart, whatever the case may be, look these guys up on Amazon. They seem to make some decent stuff, and they hold up. I've yet to have one break. It's pretty big, yes, and it comes with two of them, which obviously I don't need two of these on the mini bike, but this is what we're going to use to put on the front of the mini bike. This is also a switch that I ordered from Headlight that is going to go on the handlebars. I've got it all kind of pre-wired at the moment, which is a nightmare. I'm not a wiring guy. This is an X first aid kit. That's right, metal box. Waterproof. We're going to mount this on the front of the mini bike, which is boo. You are shaking the camera, man. Stop. Go lay down somewhere. What did I just tell you? Boo is rubbing his big head on the camera stand. That's why it all of a sudden looked like we were in an earthquake. Okay, this is an X first aid kit box. Just peeled the first aid kit part off of it, and we're going to mount this to the luggage rack on the front of the mini bike. There we go. All of this kit that you're seeing, all this wiring, was a actual fog lights kit that goes to for a vehicle, for more like a truck or a Jeep or something like that. And we're going to use part of it, which I've already cut several pieces that we need. I've got enough here to come to the front headlight, and I also might be wiring in a tail light. It just depends on what I can find. So anyway, there we go. That's what we got. I'm not really going to show you all the crazy wiring and how that goes, but I'm going to get it all put together, and then we'll go out to the mini bike and we will figure out the rest of it out there. Now, the first thing that we're going to make an attempt to do, we're going to mount this box. That is where I want to mount it. As you can see, got the clips, the whole 9 yards go there. And we need to make sure that it's farther enough back that I can drill this part of the luggage rack here and mount the headlight there. So it'll move back and forth, and obviously so I can get a better angle whenever I need it. But to make this quick and easy, we're just going to hit this thing with some self-tapping screws, mount it right down to the luggage rack, and then that way it'll be mounted and I can drill my holes and run my wiring and all that fun stuff. So that needs to be the first thing that we do. We just need a small drill bit to make a tap hole. I say we just need, if it would just... Oh, that's pretty tight actually. Anyway, that's where our battery is going to mount. And there's nothing wrong with that. Somewhere up in this area is where the switch is going to mount. Now I'm thinking about putting the switch down here, not up here in the way of my cables, down here where I can just reach up and flip it. I can drill me a hole back here. I should have some grommets around here someplace. Got to think about where all that stuff is, where I can run my wiring right out of the back and all right to the light. So here is where we are thus far. I don't know that I've ever said thus far. Wow. Anyway, we've got the light drilled to the bracket down here, to the what used to be the luggage rack, which is now going to be the battery holder, battery pan if you want to call it that, which is back here, which you've already seen us mount that. Us. Who's us? Me. You've already seen me mount that, so hopefully that'll stay. We might be putting a little bit better self-tapping screws through there, or we may even drill them all the way through and just have, I don't know, some lock washers and nuts on the bottom here to hold it in place, or some, you know, nylon lock nuts maybe. Just want to say, for the record, anybody that wants to do this sort of thing, if you are worried about drilling a Coleman mini bike, the only thing you have to be worried about is how fast you drill through it. And the reason I say that is the steel that is used on these mini bikes to put these things together, not the greatest stuff in the world. Pretty easy to drill. A dull bit will go through fast. So drilling the hole for the light for the bracket, I mean, it just poof, and it's gone through. Those self-tapping screws I'm using are from Harbor Freight. They're not the strongest thing ever, and they drilled through that bracket, that luggage rack there, like it was nothing. So if this is something you do see yourself doing in the future at some point, just remember, drilling one of these things doesn't take much. If you put a lot of oomph into it, when it goes through, you're going to and you may hurt yourself. So just be careful. Drill slowly. You don't have to go fast. Anyway, we got the switch here, which I'm going to mount on the handlebar now, and then we will start dealing with the spaghetti and putting the battery inside. I'm going to actually put foam inside here so the battery doesn't go around all over the place and wind up touching something it shouldn't be touching, causing therefore the battery to burn up the box, the light, and possibly the mini bike. Wouldn't that be cool? No. Anyway, let's get the switch on there. It's held onto the handlebars with Allen wrench bolts, and I just got to find the right size Allen wrench. So I'll be right back. Now we've got one of those little things that people overlook. It's very important, but it tends to get overlooked because it's a little thing that does a lot technically. Right here, if you notice, I drilled a hole in the front of the box. It's a grommet that goes through there, and that's so you can pass your wire from the light inside the box, and all of my wiring will be on the inside. Well, when you drill that hole through there, you kind of file it down and make it where it's not that sharp, but you want this grommet to be in there so the wiring can go through it and not get cut. You don't want that sharp edge cutting on it. So that rubber grommet takes care of that problem. A lot of people tend to forget those. It's just kind of one of those little things that you just kind of forget about. And in today's world, with all the, I don't know, rat rods and all that kind of stuff, it's, I don't know if people just forget about it or they just go, I just don't feel like it. I'm not quite sure. But for me, I wanted it there because the suspension on the old Coleman mini bike, well, suspension and Coleman mini bike, that's two things that don't really go together. Some of the new ones do have a front suspension and some have a rear, some have both. This is an old school bike. No suspension. No suspension. It's a real it's a kidney puncher is what it is. But anyway, there you go. The wiring's through. This positive negative sticker is positively becoming a negative thought in my world. Scoot up. I know which one's what. Guess we'll find that out when I hook it up though. Anyway, there's that part of the wiring. Now we'll have to make another hole in the back, a smaller one for the wiring for the switch to come through on the inside as well. It also helps keep the water out. Just thought I'd add that in. So we're getting closer. I'm also going to put some foam in this thing to keep the battery from moving around. And it'll also, the screws that I ran down through there, it'll keep the heads of the screws from bouncing around on the battery and all that kind of stuff. But we got both grommets in, got the wiring for the switch and the wiring for the light at this particular point in here and ready to go. Now it's a matter of connecting the dots. Red dots, white dots, black dots, whatever dots it takes. We're going to make this thing come on. She's going to be a bright one too. You are officially seeing things I hate doing. I am not a wiring guy. Not that I can't do it. I just don't like it. Kind of like painting. I don't like painting either. And it's not that I can't do it, I just don't like it. So, electrically speaking, theoretically, and physically, visually, it should work. All I can do is turn the switch on. If the sparks start flying and the national anthem starts playing, something didn't go right. Hey! All right. Make sure nothing's smoking, nothing's getting hot. That is a lot of light, people. All right, well, we got a light. I'm going to tidy this thing up, get all the wires tucked away in here and the foam put in. And we got a light that functions. But as you can see, Mother Nature is crying today. I'm not crying though, because I've actually enjoyed this. This has been fun. Sometimes to just get out here in the garage and break out the tools and do something that you've been meaning to do that you don't look forward to doing because you don't like doing it, doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. What I'm getting at is, every step you take, I almost said every move you make, I'll be watching you. But no, every step you take in that direction, in the forward direction, making these things be what you want them to be to serve your purpose for what you needed to serve, it gets you closer and closer to that finished product that you can take out here, get out there and use this thing. And now I do feel like we can get out there and use this thing. So because there's so much traffic going on behind me, so here we are, we're back inside, even though the outdoors ain't as great as it should be today due to weather and the constant bombardment of people that evidently have somewhere to be. We're back inside, but anyway, we're one step closer. Got the headlight on there. I feel like right now there's only a couple of other things that I would want to do and they're not necessity to do. I wanted to put a tail light on it. But the problem with the tail light is that it's going to be on constantly with the light being on, and it will still be just as bright as it would be, not like a brake light when you put your foot on the brake and it gets brighter to come on. It would be extremely bright. So what I have is an actual bicycle tail light that just goes around the basket on the back, and it has different modes it can go on. So I just got to clip that on. Well, it's actually clipped on now, but it just needs to be turned on when we go, and I'll have a switch for that. But for the first episode, we got something accomplished, and that's what matters. It wasn't as outdoorsy as I wanted it to be. Thank you, Mother Nature. But regardless, we were in the garage, we had tools in our hands, we got something accomplished that we've been meaning to do for a while, and I feel good about it. It's like that sigh of relief. It's that one more thing done. It's that what's next feeling, and I like it. I really do. I like it. So hey, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. More to come. Be prepared, because it literally can be anything, which is what I say. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next one, whatever the next one may be. Could be me making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.